And then he puts down, I only want to fight if you do. Like, I've never mentioned anything about fighting. You know, like, this person sounds very aggressive to be a PBIS instructor. School your brain. What is up, everybody? My name is Ramon Torres, the educator at School Your Brain. And this is a follow-up to my last video where I ended up getting some negative feedback from one of these people on Facebook. So I want to kind of follow that up. Alright, so Julie Payne, she made a post about, how to reward a class virtually. And I made a video about that, like student rewards, to make sure you follow certain rules. And this is based on Karen Pryor's Don't Shoot the Dog. And there's other, books that are involved in this, but this is just one of the books that I mentioned because she has a good way of tying up all the research that I've done into one book. So this person, D. Scott Schwartz, is so funny. So he works for PBIS, that's what it sounds like. And he was basically saying, don't listen to what I said in my video. That's his first sentence. Please don't follow this video. And and I said that he's starting off with negativity, and he was telling me, oh, I'm sorry you took it the wrong way. But if that's your first statement, what else, how else should I take it? I'm gonna defend what I'm saying when you tell me that I don't understand the principles, because I've been a practicing teacher, and knowledge is one thing, but keep in mind, knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is not everything, right? Knowledge is useless if you don't put it into practice. So what I like to do with School Your Brain is I looked at practical research, things that actually work in your classroom, right? And he works for PBIS, which is, if you look at their website, it's pretty much systemic, and I believe about 20% of the schools in the U.S. use it, so not too many schools are using it, but it is from K through 12, and it's behavior based. And there are other programs out there which actually incorporate like the behaviors, but besides behaviors, they also look at the academic side as well, which I like to look at both sides. So there's behavior and academics, but in this case, we're just looking at behavior because that's what the question was about the rewards. All right, so here it is. So it says here basically, I'm sorry you took the critique in a negative way. And like I said before, he opened the statement by saying, don't follow this video. So they said, sorry you took it off into a negative way, right? And he said that, to pretty much, he wants to talk to me about it in private. But like I mentioned to him, if you look at my response, I said, just say it here because, you opened the discussion in public, so it should remain public, right? Because if your true goal is to help educate teachers, then why are we going to have a discussion in public or in private when we can have it here so everybody could join in on the conversation, right? That's pretty much your purpose. That, like, when you responded to what I wrote down, you were saying I was incorrect and you put some information, right? But when I looked at what you posted, I didn't contradict anything in my video. So I wanted to learn. I was saying, just say it here because that's the whole purpose of this discussion forum, right? Like, why did you come to this place, Teachers Helping Teachers, that's the name of the group, but you want to take it away, the conversation from here, and go into a private conversation, right? So I was saying, let's leave it public because that's the whole point of this, right? If I said something wrong, then I'm willing to admit to it. That's why I'm willing to have an open discussion in public, not in private, right? Again, my purpose is to learn, to educate myself, which if you watch the beginning of the video, that's what I said in the beginning of the videos. I'm documenting my journey, and this is what I've learned so far. So notice I didn't say I know everything. I never came across saying that. So if he would have taken the time to actually look at that, you can see his intentions were that he was just trying to prove me wrong, and that's it. And like I said, I'm just sharing what I'm learning, and I never said I learned it all, and I said that I'm still learning it. So I'm not afraid to have a conversation in public because, like I said, my goal is to educate people. So if you have something to share, then share it. And then so now immediately, right? I say that. Look at how the conversation turns. So this shows you, how his thinking. So it says here, blah blah blah. If you want a fight, you got one. And this is a PBIS instructor, right? You're supposed to have emotional intelligence. Yet for some reason, by me asking you to have a conversation in public, you got offended by that, and now you got to fighting terms. And this concerns me because if you're a PBIS instructor, I think you need to be practicing what you preach. But this seems to contradict the whole purpose of PBIS, right? You're asking for a fight. Is this what you teach in your PDs on PBIS, positive behavior? Is this positive to you? If you want to fight, you got one, but you won't win. Please read the comments and tell me, did I say something that asked for a fight? I just said, let's have the conversation in public. That's it. I've done my research, right? And I know there's truth in it. Because, like I said, I'm going to defend myself, but there's no way I mentioned anything that for some reason he got the words that I want to fight him, right? And I just said, I've been teaching for over 15 years, right? And I'm constantly looking to improve my practice, not plateau. So, again, let's have a discussion out in public. But his first response is, if you want to fight, you got one, and you won't win, right? So it's funny how this person is a PBIS instructor. So that was a highlight. Like, really? You're a PBIS instructor and you're asking people to fight? Like, come on, really? So here you can see, look at, if your author did not reference PBIS, then she is just trying to sell a book. So think about it. Like, I love when people say stuff like this because, you know, clearly this person probably, you know, I'm willing to bet that this person, D. Scott Schwartz, did not write a book. And the reason why is because they do not understand how much effort it takes to write a book. People are not just going to try to sell a book. Like, this is their life story. And if you look at Karen Pryor, right, this is who I'm talking about here, Karen Pryor, Don't Shoot the Dog. She is a behavioral psychologist, right? And she's been practicing for a long, long time. Like, look at all these books. Like, look at this. Look at this. You kidding me? She's just trying to sell a book. Like, anybody that's written a book, if you've written a book before, please, I want you to leave a comment in this video and let me know. Like, when you write a book, are you really just trying to write a book? Like, no, writing a book is hard. So this person is trying to say that, you know, they're just trying to sell a book. Like, no. First of all, I mentioned the person was Karen Pryor, and you did not even want to look into who she was. You're just so sold on the PBIS system that you disregard everything. And that's the problem. When you start to get too much education, you only want to hear yourself and nobody else. Right? So like I said, I was willing to have an open discussion, but you didn't want that. You went straight to let's have a fight. Like, really? Like, I was just having a discussion. That's it. Like, I don't see any aggression coming from my side. There's no aggression. Like I said, I have the right to defend myself, but in no way did I ever say let's have a fight. All I said was let's have a discussion in public because, again, if the true goal is to educate, why are we going to have this discussion in private? Like, what's there to hide? I don't have anything to hide. Like I said, if I was wrong, then put it wrong. Right, and then look here, he goes, you're just looking to be a star on YouTube, which is fine, and I would totally like to help you in that endeavor. Like, how am I trying to be a YouTube star? If you look at my views, I don't have that many views. So, to understand this, look at, you have to have, like if you do your research, you have to have lots and lots of videos before you even can make any money on YouTube. You need at least 1,000 subscribers, and I'm far from that. And if I was really just trying to make things, you know, to be viral, like, you don't understand the idea behind, you know, actual work. Like, it's not easy. It takes years. Like, this is something that I know is going to take me over at least a decade before I make any progress in terms of what I'm doing. This is just the very beginning. So, you know, this is something that is not going to happen overnight. And if you think that I'm just trying to become a viral, like, you really think I'm going to spend years and, you know, over a decade on something like this if I'm just trying to become viral? Like, no, that's not how it happens. If that were true, then I'll be doing other stuff that most people do online that are trying to, you know, make yourself viral. Like, education field, if you look at it, they don't get that many views, and it's okay because I'm doing something that I enjoy doing. I love learning, and I'm going to share that journey. You know, even though there's people like you out here that are trying to stop that from happening, right? If you have something to share, then share it. But, you know, to say you want to fight, like, that's horrible representation for PBIS, and that's why I'm going to definitely promote this video as much as I can. And when I do professional development in the future, I'm also going to mention this too, that, you know, there's a reason why they say practice what you preach, right? Because this person is saying PBIS this, PBIS this, but then they're going to talk about let's fight. That's so like, it's just the irony in that is just, it's too funny. And then here it says here, like, although you made a video clearly not upset at being called out for not being clear, it's hard to believe that you are doing all this purely for the love. And like I said, you really think I'm going to spend all my hours doing these things if I don't love it? Of course I love it. Like, I'm just trying to, if you just want to just grow a YouTube channel, please, I want you to try to do a YouTube channel and see how long you're going to go into it. Alright? Because there's a thing called the growth mindset, and that's only going to happen when you have a passion for something. If you're not passionate about something, I guarantee you will quit. And that's the exact thing I'm talking about. Like, people like you are not going to stop me. I'm going to keep going. Why? Because I love it. And when you talk, you know, when you talk about let's fight, that just fuels me to keep doing what I'm doing, because I know I'm making a difference, because I impacted one person, and that was you. And then he puts down, I only want to fight if you do. Like, I've never mentioned anything about fighting. You know, like, this person sounds very aggressive to be a PBIS instructor. And he said that you act like you are 5. Like, in the comments, please, in the comments below, tell me, who is the one you think is acting like they are 5? Me, I was just asking for discussion. Again, you could read, you could watch the whole transcript. And who's the one who asked for a fight? Like, to me, is that professional, or is that being like a 5-year-old? So, like, see, a lot of stuff he's saying is just so contradicting. You know, and he's saying, oh, going back to here, you stroke my ego way too much. I am personally flattered. So that sounds like very, very childlike. It doesn't sound very professional to me, you know? And then he puts down, I am a nobody. My Facebook image is the lone educator. I am alone. Right? I am not a social media influencer. And he put down, I have elevated his status to some godlike. Like, these Kosh words, come on. You're a god now? Like, come on. You just said that I'm acting like 5, and now you're saying all these things. Like, there's a lot of projection here. So it kind of like seems like, to me, it sounds like his feelings were hurt. And now he's trying to lash out and say whatever he can to try to bring me down. But he doesn't understand that I do a lot of meditation. I read a lot about mindset. And, you know, you can't control, and this is for anybody that's out there, you can't control what people say, right? You can't control that. And that's the reality. Now, his perspective in PBIS is you can control people, right? That's why he's so into his PBIS structure. Keep in mind, only 20% of the schools are using it. And there's a lot of negative review with the system. And another thing that I want to point out is that it is, you know, for it to be very effective, and including a lot of other things in education, it has to be performed system-wide. And the problem with that is that change, if you really want to implement change, research shows it takes about 5 years. And any of you teachers already know. Tell me how many administrators you have in 5 years. Tell me how many different teachers come into your school in 5 years. Tell me how many different practices are introduced to you guys every 5 years, you know, within those 5 years. It's constantly being thrown at you different things, right? So when research says you need at least 5 years for something to become effective, yet we're constantly changing things every single year, you tell me, right, from your experience, not about some theory or some research that somebody read, that according to D. Scott, right? Research this and theory that. No, I want you guys to think about your own personal experiences and tell me, right, is it true? Like, do you think things are effective in schools, right? Because a lot of the times things change so much.